The US authorities' economic policy is driving the cryptocurrency market to new highs. 6 to 7 million bitcoins have been lost irrevocably. Crypto fever is gonna take over third world countries. Welcome to the Coin Post. Bitcoin updated its 2-week low, dropping below $53,000 at some point. As a result of the depreciation, positions worth $1.6 billion were liquidated on the futures market. Today we're discussing new Bitcoin price predictions, some hot news on XRP, and gonna find out what's been driving the price of Bitcoin for the past year and whether it will keep rising this year. Don't forget to subscribe to get new videos first, and let's start. In the last few days, the crypto market has been pretty calm. Bitcoin's volatility is decreasing and sometimes showing abrupt movements in both directions. Bears and bulls push the price in their own direction, causing lower highs and higher lows, resulting in a lack of a clear trend. Eventually, it's gonna end up with some kind of a breakthrough. Therefore, it's worth paying attention to the large sales zones around 60,000 and purchases in the range of $54,000. If we break through these levels, we can say with confidence which way we're gonna move towards a new high. In terms of records, Turkey has already set its price record. According to local Bitcoins, the price of Bitcoin on local P2P platforms against the backdrop of the Turkish lira reached 100,000, and the Bitcoin search request doubled in just one morning. This shows once again that once people see the depreciation of their fiat currencies, they tend to protect their savings and buy cryptocurrency. But of course, that's millennials that do it the most. As we know, over the last year, the price of Bitcoin has skyrocketed by more than 900%. But according to this chart, the shares of these 4 public mining companies have increased by 5,000%. Each Bitcoin price movement by 1% changes the share price of mining companies by 2.5% in the same direction. It's been suggested that public mining companies are a way for large investors to enter Bitcoin, while the US SEC refuses to approve Bitcoin ETF. With regard to Bitcoin predictions, there's one both good and bad piece of news. In his interview to CNBC, the co-founder and former CEO of crypto exchange BTC says Bitcoin's bull run is getting started and it could surge to $300,000. But once the current growth phase is completed, the bubble is gonna burst and cryptocurrency prices may be falling for years, warned Bobby Lee. He also expressed confidence that the price of Bitcoin would reach $100,000 this summer. I mean, we've heard so many 100,000 Bitcoin predictions, but in fact, it's becoming obvious, considering what's going on with the global economy and the money printing machines around the world. Of course, I couldn't pass the wolf from Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, who changed his mind about Bitcoin, predicting it will go on to hit $100,000. Belfort had previously predicted the fall and believed that Bitcoin would be gone for good in 2018, as Bitcoin seemed to him the perfect tool for money laundering, which would be destroyed and shut down by regulators. But now Belfort compared Bitcoin to stocks. The latter, he said, couldn't rise forever, while the issuance of new securities lowers their price. The former stockbroker stated that the first cryptocurrency attracts investors with limited supply. People are spoiled by Bitcoin. It has a fixed supply, whereas stocks could be issued indefinitely, Belfort argued. He also added that Bitcoin now has a much larger customer base than ever before. He believes Bitcoin holds advantages over stocks, which could see the cryptocurrency reach the $100,000 level. I immediately remembered Ray Dalio, who admitted last November that he might have been wrong about Bitcoin. I might have missed something about Bitcoin. Dalio admitted. Well, I guess you guys have all missed something. Well, we're happy to welcome you to the club. Before we move on to the next section and discuss what's been actually driving the price of Bitcoin up over the last 12 months, I'd encourage you to subscribe to the channel to get new videos first. According to eToro CEO Yoni Eja, the US authorities' economic policy is driving the cryptocurrency market to new highs. In his interview to Cointelegraph, the businessman noted that the rise in the cost of Bitcoin and other digital currencies was a result of American and other countries' efforts to stimulate the economy. In fact, that's quite true, as we're seeing unprecedented fiscal policies from federal governments around the world, leading to zero interest rates and in some countries even negative rates. Stimulus measures, including financial assistance to people and businesses, created the conditions for the renewed growth of the stock market. People returned to investing in risky assets, which has also had a positive impact on the value of digital currencies. As we remember, a year ago, Bitcoin price was $5,000. But with the pandemic, the US and other countries began supporting citizens and companies, bringing markets back to the green zone. Bitcoin got expensive, and already this year its price exceeded $60,000 and the market cap reached over $1 trillion. It's safe to predict further market growth provided that governments, and especially the US, continue to inject money into the economy. And they will. Just last night, it was reported that Biden's team had prepared a plan to boost the US economy by another $3 trillion. All this will certainly stimulate both the cryptocurrency and traditional markets. What do you think is really driving the Bitcoin price? Share your opinion in the comments below. And we're moving on to some fascinating analysis. Last week, according to the data from Glassnode, whales that mined Bitcoin more than 10 years ago still hold the coins and won't sell them. The amount of BTC stored in wallets and not transferred since 2011 reached a record level of 2 million. Besides, more than half of this amount probably belongs to Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto. It's clear to me that quite a few coins have been lost, but in fact, the offer of Bitcoin is well below 21 million coins. I think it's safe to assume that 6 to 7 million Bitcoins have been lost irrevocably. That's why owning Bitcoin is such a great responsibility. How much do you think is really lost? This is actually an important question because if somehow we knew how many coins were lost, then it would boost the market even more. Imagine for a second there's information that the Bitcoin supply is limited to just 14 to 15 million instead of 21. What's gonna happen then? And while you're thinking, give this video a thumbs up. And we're moving on to the news on the cryptocurrency market. And now, some important stuff on XRP. As reported by the US SEC spokesman during the hearing, apart from Ripple and its employees, none of the investors, exchanges, or other platforms violate the US Securities and Exchange Commission rules by selling XRP. That's what the regulator's lawyer said in court. He called the statement one of the surprise bombs during the discovery hearing. Does that mean that exchanges abandoned XRP in vain and can now bring it back again? In fact, the price of XRP last week was one of the few cryptocurrencies that surged on Monday, March 15th. When the whole market was in the red zone, XRP rose by more than 20% by the end of the week and is now traded at about 56 cents. But after the news that the US SEC had no complaints about other platforms trading in XRP, the price didn't react, although usually this news would boost the market by 50 or 60%. Now a few more words about Cardano. Charles Hoskinson, who was a speaker at Blockchain Africa conference, reported on the state and private partnership in a number of African countries, meaning this year the Cardano ecosystem would attract millions of new users. Cryptocurrency adoption goes best not in rich countries, but in countries with low living standards, weak commodity economies, and expensive money transfers in traditional ways, like Africa, Southeast Asia, and South America. According to the survey of 74 countries, Nigerians, for instance, because of the high transaction fees, use cryptocurrency to send money abroad. In addition, it's the country where mobile payments became part of people's lives much earlier than in other countries. As you can tell, I'm leading you to the point that crypto fever is gonna take over third world countries, and that's where they're gonna try out new technology, not to mention the prospects of such a market in terms of scale for any cryptocurrency or project. And on that note, we're gonna finish today. Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, because we're doing the best we can for you. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. It's the Coin Post channel. Subscribe and get enlightened.